Alright guys, we're just going to look at a few more examples of factoring. To be honest with you, depending on what class you're in, if you're in third period or fifth period, we might have done in class because I was skipping around between the two classes. Alright, so looking at number 10, x squared plus 5x minus 14. Again, remember, we always start with drawing that x. So on top, I have x squared and minus 14. And remember, there's definitely a 1 in front of that x squared. So I have 1 times negative 14, which is negative 14. Then, on the bottom, I have what's in the middle there, which is 5. Alright, so I'm looking for my two numbers that multiply to negative 14 but add to 5. Those are going to be 7 and negative 2, right? 7 times negative 2 is negative 14. 7 plus negative 2 is 5. So when I draw this new box, right, x squared and negative 14 stay the same. Those haven't changed. What changes is the 7 and negative 2. I have 7x here, negative 2x here. So then I'm going to write the outside of my box, get those factors, right? X squared always comes from x times x. 7x, right? I have to do x times a positive 7. Negative 2x, I can do x times a negative 2. Then my factors are x plus 7, x minus 2. So then to get what x equals, remember, you have the opposite sign. So this is a positive 7, it's negative 7, divided by whatever number is in front of x. So negative 7 divided by 1, which is negative 7. Same thing for my other one. This is negative 2, so I'm going to use positive 2 divided by 1. 2 divided by 1 is 2. Alright, looking at number 12. Number 12 is 3x squared plus 20x equals negative 12. So anytime we don't have a 0 here, I have to fix that. Anytime we have something on the other side of our equation. So in order to get rid of that negative 12, I'm going to add 12 to both sides. So now I have 3x squared plus 20x plus 12 equals 0. Right? We want it to be equal to 0. So now I'm going to draw that x. And on top, I have 3 times 12. And 3 times 12 is 36. And then on bottom, I have 1. So I'm thinking of my numbers that multiply to 36 and add 20. Alright, so numbers that multiply to 36, right? Always start with your low factors, right? So I'm going to think of 2. 36 is 2 times 18. Well, look at that. 2 plus 18 is 20. So those are my two numbers. So then I'm going to draw that box. Right. Again, my first and my last term stay the same. I still have 3x squared, and I still have positive 12. These numbers split up my middle term, 2x and 18x. So now I'm going to draw the outside of my box. Remember, when there's a number out here, you have to be a little bit more careful. It's not just x times x, right? One of these is going to have a 3 with them, either the 18 or the 2, right? So either 18 or 2 is a multiple of 3, right? So you have to think about which one is a multiple of 3. And 18 is a multiple of 3. So the 3x is going to go here, and the x is just going to go there. So x goes with 2x. X times positive 2 is 2x. 3x times positive 6 is 18x. So I have then, with my two factors, 3x plus 2 and x plus 6. Then for my solution, x equals, right, remember I changed the sign, so that's negative 2 divided by what's in front of x, which is 3. Since negative 2/3 doesn't reduce anymore, can't divide, it stays as negative 2/3. For my second one, x equals, the opposite of 6 is negative 6, divided by 1. Negative 6 divided by 1 is negative 6. Alright, let's look at our next example. It's very similar to this one. I have 8x squared plus x equals 30. So, same type of thing. I want to subtract 30 from both sides. Right, I want it equal to 0. So I have 8x squared plus x minus 30 equals 0. I'm going to draw my big X, right? On top goes 8 times negative 30. So I get negative 240, right? Negative 240 there. On bottom goes my middle number. Remember, when there's no number in front of x, it's 1. So I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to negative 240 that add to 1. Since this number is so big, this one might take you a while to find your two numbers. But I do eventually find that 15 and 16 multiply to 240, and those numbers do have a difference of 1. My bigger number is going to be positive, since 1 is positive. So my two numbers are 16 and negative 15. So I'm going to draw my box. Again, my first and my last numbers stay the same. So I have 8x squared minus 30. Okay. My middle number splits into the two I found here. So 16x minus 6 and minus 15x. Alright, so again, since the number in front isn't 1, I want to look at which number 8 divides into. Alright, so negative 15 or 16, and you should see that 8 goes into 16. So my 8x is going to go with the 16, x is going to go with the 15. Okay? So then 8x times a positive 2 is 16x, and x times a negative 15, right, or a minus 15 is negative 15x. We can check here, negative 15 times 2 is negative 30. So I'm going to write both of these. I have x plus 2 times 8x minus 15. So x equals, change the sign, negative 2 divided by 1, which is negative 2. And x equals, right, change the sign, which is positive 15, 8. So x equals negative 2 and 15, 8. Alright, for our last problem, right, I have x squared minus 49, and this one should say equals 0. So I have my box, or my x, sorry, not my box. On top, I have my first term and my last term, right, which is 1 times negative 49. On bottom, there is no number here in the middle. There's something missing, right? If there is nothing, it's just 0, okay? So if you have no middle term, it's just 0. So what are my two numbers? Well, they are 7 and negative 7. When you have that 0 on the bottom, these two numbers are always going to be opposite. Right? One positive, one negative. So when I draw my box, right, I have x squared and negative 49 stay the same. Right? These split up that middle term, 7x minus 7x. Okay? This goes back to it's just x squared. So I know it's x times x plus 7, x minus 7. X plus 7, x minus 7 equals 0. So x equals, right, this is a negative 7 divided by 1, which is negative 7. X equals, this is a positive 7 divided by 1, which is simply positive 7. Alright, that's it for today. Hope you guys have a wonderful night, and I will see you tomorrow.